Hi, Paul Gorney from Luxury Living in Chicago, taking a look at 5 lies in Chicago real estate. Hate to say it, but not everything you hear or is told you is the truth, or maybe it's a half-truth. Either way, typically not good stuff that you want to be aware of it. Don't want to make mistakes. Chicago real estate can be a little crazy at times. So number one thing you want to be aware of is that all the areas in Chicago, like most cities, are not the same. So they will handle an economic downturn, a slowing in the market like we're starting to see now, differently. Some will stay stable. Other ones will have big drops, especially the ones that are kind of spiky, more shiny objects that are, the last ones to kind of gentrify and, have the prices spike up. Many of those are hit pretty darn hard. So if someone's telling you, hey, this area is kind of the next greatest thing, lots of things going on, a lot of times the carpet's pulled out from under you and you don't really, recoup your money or get a good amount of appreciation. Also, some of the retail developments comes to a screeching halt, and once that happens, that really stops the people from coming even more. So you got to watch out for those types of things. So anyways, call, text, email anytime. Definitely consider the source of information would be number two in Chicago real estate or nationally. Anybody, there's a million people out there that will give you an opinion, will be kind of pumped up and tell you what they think, and it sounds real believable, but someone who's been around 30 years through many, declining markets, skyrocketing market, it's all this, a lot of it's kind of BS sometimes. So, or people don't really know and they just have to say something. So you have to be careful, especially in times like this. So, again, call, text, email if you need anything. The third thing that you need to be aware of in Chicago real estate is looking at the rental situation. So a lot of people will talk about how rents come due like March, April, May, June. People, all the leases come due and it really affects the market tremendously. People come out and buy, or people decide to rent, and there's kind of a big influx. This isn't really true that it's that big a factor in the market unless you're a first-time buyer. Then it does affect those types of properties a lot more. So, if you're looking for a $400,000 to $600,000 or $700,000 condo, you could be affected by how many people are renting, how many new buildings are opening up for rent, what people's confidence level is. But don't believe somebody if they tell you, hey, the whole market in Chicago is affected by the lease dates that people typically come due. It used to be more like that. People would come due, around March, April, start moving. People don't like to move in the winter as much, but it's really not the case anymore. Leases do expire at all different times of year. And first-time buyers are the ones that are most affected. So the other thing that I've heard that's, really misleading, a lie, a half-truth is people, kind of form a real estate brokerage. They call it a team or a group, but essentially it's like one key person that's probably the most experienced person, and then they have 20, sometimes very limited experienced agents running around working with the clients. So having been on the flip side of many of those transactions, it's very evident that, the people many times are not that great, not that experienced. It's kind of, again, like shiny object. Look at me, I have all these sales, I have 20 people. I mean, really what it is, like a manager of a real estate office with a bunch of newer agents running around on big splits, and meaning the top person's getting a big part of their commission. So they kind of don't really care as much, in my opinion, many times, and not able to deliver kind of expert service that you need. So you got to be out, watch out for that. If you have somebody on a big team and, or a group, I think that it's a big disservice many times. So, somebody that's just a veteran will do a lot better for you, in my opinion. Other thing is finding off-market homes. A lot of talk about this. There's a private listing network in the MLS. Every agent has access to that. The real gold comes with kind of a prolonged connections in certain areas. So in the area you want to live in, the types of property you want, someone like myself, I have hundreds of contacts for years and been tracking people, having conversations with people when they're going to move, when they're going to sell their properties, and that sort of thing. So you can get a lot more options that are off market. I've sold many off market properties this year, and have many more coming. People just putting deals together between buyers and sellers because there's still pretty crisp market for many property types, especially in the suburban areas. There's high demand in certain pockets, like crazy demand. Like people are just chomping at the bit to get in there before the school year and things like that. So again, just because somebody's nice or works on a team or works in a certain area your friend knows, if you want to get competitive and really get things done well, you better get into it. More resources, more experience, more aggressiveness to get a property that's off market. So the other thing about Chicago, it's kind of nuts. People, will sell properties, and many times the listing agent will actually meet you at the property to show you the property. So what happens, especially in the hot market, is they try and clump agents together to show property, and they end up missing on showings of people that are out of town or in town and are leaving and can't get in to see the property. So it kind of affects the ability for someone to sell their home a little bit. Maybe they don't get 10 offers, maybe they get 2, maybe they get 5. It's the only place in the country that does not use lockboxes on a regular basis for every property, which really affects the scheduling, the timing, the way you get into properties, the way you interact with the listing agent. It's like a Chicago tradition. It makes no sense, quite frankly, and agents across the country kind of make fun of Chicago. Well, they do make fun of Chicago, and the agents, they think that the agents in Chicago are pretty much nuts for doing that, and I think each agent does it to just one-up each other, that I'll be there, I'll take care of it, I'm going to sell it, when most of the time the agents don't know the answer to basic questions like, how old's the air conditioner? What are the reserves in the condo building? What was the last sale in the building? What was the last sale on the block? How old's the roof? So they're just kind of there. They have a pulse. And many times that's about it for 80% of them at least. So there are some that will offer some value, but most do not. And many times will give away, kind of a little bit of information without knowing it that can help in a negotiation or whether a property is desirable. So lock boxes are used all over the country, except in Chicago. They're used now, but sparingly compared to other areas in the country. So something to be aware of, and most of the agents not using them will tell you how they're horrible and they're there for the showings, and it's really a bunch of baloney because people don't really like an agent hovering over them. They can't talk to their agent. They can't talk about improvements, what they like about it. They can't relax because they have someone breathing down their neck. And many times, like I said, don't have answers to basic questions. So these are some of the things about Chicago specifically and the market right now. Just call, text, email if you need anything at all. Happy to help.